11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Guerrero won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano. Smile from Manny Pacquiao. Oh, down goes Cerdo.
With his trainer, Eddie Reynoso, wearing black with white, also weighing in at 167.6 pounds. In his professional career, 54 victories, including 36 big wins by knockout, only one defeat with 2 draws, and he's undefeated for 6 years, and considered by many to be, pound for pound, the best in the world. He's the former 2-time light middleweight world champion, former middleweight world champion, former light heavyweight world champion, the reigning, defending super middleweight champion of the world, damas y caballeros de Guadalajara, Jalisco, México, presentando al gran campeón, Saúl Canelo.
And thanks to those joining me live and those that will be joining me on the archive. D-Style here. If you're watching, hit the like button. If you're watching the archive, hit the like button. You may end up disliking it if you don't like what you hear, but ask me if I care. I don't, right? I appreciate feedback, but I don't care about feedback. You're allowed to give feedback, but I don't care about it. All right, because my opinion is my own. All right. I need to talk about this atrocious video I just saw. It was a short by this guy Bach, right? Is that his name? Bach. I don't look, man. Just to stop rating fighters this way. Especially if it's throughout different eras, bro. Like this is it's like so pathetic, dude. Like anyone who rates fighters this way, or like honestly, I need to question how long. Like you've probably been watching the sport for maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe 10. Like this is unbelievable to me. Now, I'm a big Saul Canelo Alvarez fan, but the way this dude was, the argument, I'm talking about the argument he's using. You have a right to feel how you feel, but the arguments he's using are pathetic, bro. I'm just going to put it that way. Pathetic. You've seen me on the other end when Teddy Atlas was reading off a script and reading off names and claiming that like there was dozens of Mexican fighters better than Canelo. Well, that's ridiculous too. Right? And look, this is not about opinion, it's about the arguments. It's what it's about. Right? And Bach, who has a show where he gets to talk boxing on the Zone, and this is the exclusive content the Zone's giving you for $30 a pop, by the way. Since they don't give us a good fight some more with your $30 subscription, you got to pay extra for that. Right? That's how pathetic the Zone is right now, by the way. Pathetic. But it's not about the Zone at the moment, although the Zone gives this guy a platform to talk boxing to people. Right? And this is, I'm going to show you the type of content. I'm not saying this is from it's not from the Zone, I don't believe. But I'm going to show you the type of content that this guy does. I'm about to let you hear this crap. And I'm going to also show you that I've been consistent about this throughout the years, by the way. Stop using the number of titles fighters have won to rank fighters all time. It's pathetic. It's lazy. It's stupid. What the fuck are we doing? So let's play it. I'll play it for you. Give me a second. Okay. Play this shit.
Sanchez, but Salvador Sanchez, phenomenal fighter, no question about it. But unfortunately, he died an untimely death at 23 years old from a car accident, and he had only accomplished one world title in one division. Ruben Olivares won 3 world titles in 2 divisions. Let's move on to actually one of my favorite fighters of all time, Ricardo Finito Lopez. He won 4 world titles in 2 divisions. Another all-time great, Juan Manuel Marquez, who happens to be one of Canelo's biggest haters. 7 world titles in 4 different divisions. Let's move on to another Mexican great, Marcos Antonio Barrera. 6 world titles, 3 divisions. In fact, the only fighter that has an argument that I consider Mexican, and a lot of you don't because he wasn't born in Mexico, and his name is Oscar De La Hoya. Phenomenal fighter, never ducked anybody. Now, he won 11 world titles in 6 different divisions. Let's talk about Canelo Alvarez. 17 world titles in 4 different divisions. When you talk about accomplishments in weight divisions and risks that he has taken in a sport, there is no comparison. And guess what, people? This is the scariest part. He's not even done yet.
By the way, while he's doing this, he's looking. You can tell he's looking down. He's looking at a piece of paper, right, while he's doing this. Imagine summing up the great Salvador Sanchez. I mean, he only accomplished 1 belt. I mean, in 1 weight class. That's all he ever did. I mean, well, that's that. All right. Well, what did this guy do? Yeah, 2 weight classes. Yeah, that's all he did. What's up with this? What did this guy do? Only 6 and 3 weight classes? What the fuck is going on right now? Like, you know what I mean? What are we doing? De La Hoya, he had 6 and so many X, Y, and Z. What the fuck are we doing, bro? What are we doing? What the fuck? Like, what are we doing? Like, I'm being serious. Like, what the fuck is that? By this logic, Adrian Broner is greater than all these other guys too. Then, because Adrian Broner won in multiple time belts and multiple divisions too. 130, 135. What is it? 3 divisions for Broner? And how many of those were belts and all that? But by this stupid logic, right? By this stupid logic, all the fighters today are greater than all the fighters in the past because they think they want more belts, they want more titles. Look at all the titles they got. Oh my God, look at all the titles. Now, I'm not at all diminishing the accomplishments of Saul Canelo Alvarez. I would argue that you're a great fighter. You're supposed to have that many titles right now. Is what I would argue. Because of how many there are. Like there's so many titles. First of all, there's more interim titles than ever, which eventually get elevated more than ever. Right? More than ever. We have more vacant belts than ever. We got more sanctioning bodies than ever. We got super champs and regular champs. What in the fuck are we doing? What about guys that they did have a belt, but they had multiple defenses and they just didn't lose for a long time? What about that factor? You see, the problem here, right, is that this motherfucker is just looking at a piece of paper, right? Oh, yeah. Facts. Like, what does that mean? Facts. What? No, like, there's more to it than that. You don't just look at numbers, you got to look into them. What does that even mean? What does it mean? 14 belt. What about it? That is not a determination on how or who's better than who. That's not how you do it. That's not how it's done. It's about who you fought, how good you were, how good were your opponents, how good was your era, how tough was the competition, right? And if it was a limited amount of belts, it's actually more difficult to become champion. You're not as watered down. The belts today are watered down. That's the truth. What the fuck is this? And look, Happotype's right. I made the same arguments against Floyd years ago. And here I am. Oh, Floyd's better than anybody ever because he beat the most world champions ever. Because there is more world champions than ever. They call it the 4-belt era. And even within the 4-belt era, you have multiple champions. Crawford just got another belt for doing nothing. Crawford he's going to be elevated, or already did, to WBO champion. And Fundora is also allowed to be the WBO champion. What are we doing? And even if he isn't, Crawford just got the belt that way. How many guys do you see now? They just get elevated after winning interim belts. It's what the fuck are we doing? Not to mention all the vacant belts. Not to mention how guys don't defend anymore. So that creates a pattern of, or like a domino effect. Well, they don't defend, they drop, someone else grabs it. So they're playing hot potato with the belts. You don't have a defending champion locking in the belt for years while guys play hot potato with it. So that means there's a bunch of champions roaming around. The whole top 10 is filled with champions, former champions, and if you beat them, there'll be a future champion. That's what's going on right now, if we're honest. Guys don't have many title defenses anymore, so it gets vacant. So more guys become champion, and Skull's going to become a champion. Whoever beats Skull becomes a champion, and Berlanga will become a champion. And somebody beats Berlanga, they'll become a champion, and this guy will become a champion. And what the fuck are we doing, bro? It's a stupid way and lazy way to grade fighters. It's pathetic. And if you go down the line where there was only like 2 belts, but guys defended it, and they were defended multiple times, and they held it for years while being active. So there wasn't a lot of guys that were champions. So now that I say that, let's listen to it again. Hopefully you learned something, and we'll listen to it again. All right?
That's my take on the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. Peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here. I'll start off with one of my favorites, Salvador Sanchez. Phenomenal fighter, no question about it. But unfortunately, he died an untimely death at 23 years old from a car accident. And he had only accomplished 1 world title in 1 division. Ruben Olivares won 3 world titles in 2 divisions. Let's move on to actually one of my favorite fighters of all time, Ricardo Finito Lopez. He won 4 world titles in 2 divisions. Another all-time great, Juan Manuel Marquez, who happens to be one of Canelo's biggest haters. 7 world titles in 4 different divisions. Let's move on to another Mexican great, Marcos Antonio Barrera. 6 world titles, 3 divisions. In fact, the only fighter that has an argument that I consider Mexican, and a lot of you don't because he wasn't born in Mexico, and his name is Oscar De La Hoya. Phenomenal fighter, never ducked anybody. Now, he won 11 world titles in 6 different divisions. Let's talk about Canelo Alvarez. 17 world titles in 4 different divisions. When you talk about accomplishments and weight divisions and risks that he has taken in a sport, there is no comparison. And guess what, people? This is the scariest part. He's not even.
What a stupid conclusion. I'm sorry, bro. I'm talking about the argument, guys. The argument he's making. He's basically saying that Kambosos, he won like what, 3 belts? So he's greater than Salvador Sanchez, guys. Because he beat Teofimo that one time, and look at all the belts he got. He's greater than the legendary Salvador Sanchez, because if you just look at the numbers, 3, he won 3 belts, and he only had 1, so he's better. What the fuck are we doing? I personally have Canelo in the top 5 right now. You heard me come on here, and when Teddy Adams was saying, he's not even top 10, there's been dozens and dozens of greater. Teddy Adams is full of shit. All right? But make no mistake about it, this argument is stupid and dangerous. We're getting a bunch of dudes now, and somebody said that they go to Wikipedia, they go to BoxRec, and us win 1 belt, and then that's the breakdown. That's the whole breakdown. This is stupid, bro. Somehow they're churning this watered down belt era, and they're like using it, they're weaponizing it to claim that these current fighters, that by definition, it makes them greater than fighters in the past because they're winning more belts. It's fucking retarded, dude. This is what's happening. This is what's happening right now. What Canelo's doing is what you're supposed to do with all the fucking belts that there's around today. All right? So I'm not here to say, everything. I think very highly of Canelo. This is about this stupid argument. It's not even close. He's head and shoulders above everybody because look, 17 world titles. Woo! Salvador just won 1. This is what we're doing? This is what we're doing. See, the trick here is that, like, this isn't propaganda. This is a stupid take, right? But it's how propaganda works. You have to, like, say a kernel of truth, and you say things that aren't really lies, but you're presenting them in a very misleading way, right? So is it true? Like, if we look at his first take, that Salvador Sanchez died in a car crash. He died young at the age of 23. So he didn't accomplish what he could have accomplished if he didn't die young. Yes, that is true, right? However, you got to look at the fact that Salvador Sanchez, all right, went 4-0 against Hall of Famers, all right? And he won all those fights by knockout. Danny Ray Lopez was a strong reigning champion. Right? A young Azuma Nelson who was very strong for that weight class. Right? And of course, Wilfredo Gomez, who was a fucking beast. All right? A fucking beast, dude. And he annihilated him. Probably the greatest Mexican versus Puerto Rican win of all time. All right? If you see what Wilfredo Gomez did to Zarate and Lupe Pintor, how he destroyed those dudes. Like, but you need to know boxing to know that. Like, Now, you see, the problem I don't have a problem with people having opinions. All right? But anybody who wraps up Salvador Sanchez's career like that, thumbs it up in just a lazy, pathetic way like that, I don't got any respect for you because you don't have respect for Salvador Sanchez. How can I, as a long life boxing fan, respect you when you show total disregard and disrespect to the legends that built this sport? How can I respect you? It's fucking pathetic, is what that is. And this is a dude that the zone employs. This isn't even about if you think Canelo's greater and you want to make your argument. That's fair. But what this dude is doing, that's lazy ass shit. It's lazy. Because by his logic, Camboza is a greater fighter than Salvador Sanchez was. Because he's counting the belt, or three greater than one. That's what the fuck he's doing. That's what he's doing. Shout out to Zone. How's it going, brother? So I am losing some, huh? I've been losing a lot of weight, brother. Been running, all right, hitting the punching bag in the back, working out, eating healthy, all that good stuff. I'm getting old. Can't afford to, be. And a lot of you will know the older you get, and if you don't know, you're going to learn the hard way. You got to start taking care of yourself. Like it is what it is because things aren't easy when you get older. But look, the reality is, the truth is, it is pathetic to just use this whole thing, solely this one thing. It's pathetic. I'm sorry. It's stupid. It just is. So the way I see it is, if you go back to a day where there was, let's say, 2 belts, and somebody won 2 belts, right? So it was technically undisputed by doing so. And then he went on to defend the belt 7, 8 times, right? You have to actually know who the guys he defended against were. It's what you need to know. Now they're playing hot potato with the belt. So a lot of these guys, right? They vacate the belt because they have multiple belts to pick from, right? So they vacate a belt, somebody else picks up that belt, and eventually they end up fighting that guy again. They pick up that belt again, so they become another, they add another title to the mix, and then they beat another dude, and then they drop the belt, right? More than ever right now, and we know this is happening. And the reason we know this is happening, the numbers don't lie with this. You look at the weight classes, and you'll see that there's like 8 or 7 of the top 10 are undefeated. Well, what does that tell you? It tells you that they're not fighting each other, right? When you got 7, 8 dudes undefeated in the top 10, they're not fighting each other, right? Yet they're all grabbing belts, and then they're playing hot potato with the belts, right? And then they start beating some of the same dudes for the belts, right? Until they finally fight each other and they pick up another belt. And this is a bigger problem now than ever. This is why you have legendary fighters and you look at the figures and you say, okay, well, he only won, 4 belts in 2 divisions only. What are we doing? That's not how you do it. They're watered down. They're watered down. If I get $1, right? And you could say, man, D-Style used to have $1, right? You don't get to break my dollar into 4 quarters, right? and you get a quarter and you think it's equal to my dollar. And then you get another quarter, and now, oh, look at me. I got 2 quarters. He still only has $1. I'm beating him 2-1. Oh, I got a third one. Ooh, look at me. I got 3-1. Right? And then if other people are breaking up dollars and they're giving you quarters and you start counting them and you think you're better than them, look, I'm valued more because look at this. And then if you and other people like take turns like with the quarters, right? All of a sudden, oh, look at me. I've had 17 quarters. These guys only had $1, right? The problem I have, right? The issue I have is the laziness of this argument. The issue I have is how lazy people get. And there's no bigger pet peeve than mine than you're over here trying to make an argument and you're looking at a piece of paper and I know it's the stats you're looking at and you're just leaving it at that. There's nothing wrong with looking at stats, right? But just leaving it at that. Teddy Adams reading off a piece of paper, names he can't even fucking pronounce, fighters he probably never watched. And don't be surprised. It's definitely like, I know Teddy Adams has been in boxing for 30, 40 years or whatever, but the way he obviously couldn't remember a lot of these fighters. All right. And I could just tell when he was reading off the names. Right. So I didn't like when Teddy Atlas basically came out and said, Canelo not even in the top 20 or whatever he said, right? Oh, Canelo, you don't compare to any of these guys. And he went off and read off a piece of paper like a bunch of names, right? And I don't like this either because they're both lazy, right? That's what they both are. You can make the arguments you want to make. You could rate people where you want to rate them, right? But don't insult my intelligence with these stupid, lazy arguments. Is all I'm saying. All right? That's what I'm saying. Ray Robinson only won 1 belt at welterweight. But because there was only 1 belt to get. But he was a dominant champion. Then he got his 2nd belt at middleweight. Right? And then he had a bunch of defenses. And then he lost the belt and got it again. So I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't really know. But what he only had 3 titles, maybe 4 in his whole career. And somehow, let's say it's 3. So you're going to tell me that Adrian Broner is equal to Ray Robinson because he got 3 too? Kambosos is equal to Ray Robinson because he got 3 or 4? Or better than Robinson? How about that? Devin Haney beat Kambosos. That's it. He's better than like all these dudes that only had 2-3 belts in their whole career. No, you got to know the value of those belts, when they had them, how they had them, and all that good stuff is what I got to say. Okay? And you have to actually follow, like look at the careers. Look at the fighters. For God's sakes. But anyway, those are my thoughts. I do got to get going. But I just wanted to go ahead and do that video. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button. All right. And that'll be that. I got to get going, guys. All right. This is Z Style Boxing. Keep it boxing. Peace.